welcome into SportsZone All Access here on this Wednesday, October the 1st. Yeah, we're into the 10th month of the year and fall sports in full swing. We have state tournaments starting next week for tennis and golf. And yeah, the fall sports season already winding down for a lot of sports, back half for volleyball and football. And we'll talk plenty of high school football. Big game coming up this week. Brandon Valley Lincoln 1 versus 2 in 11 AAA. We got both coaches joining us in our next parts of the show. A lot of good conversation coming up. But let us first start off by talking about some headlines from earlier in the week. We were so busy talking football, we kind of let this one slip through the cracks. But the Twins are fired. Rocco Baldelli, their manager, 7 years there. He won 527 games, third winningest manager all time. 70-92 this year, 3 American League Central Division titles. You think, oh, that all doesn't sound too bad. Well, it sounds better than it was, right? It obviously ended out in flaming out, and who knows if the ownership is going to get it right. We know there's a lot of problems with the Polads, but what we do know is that Rocco Baldelli, I think, was part of the problem. Somehow, if you get rid of the GM, Rocco, and ownership, I think the fan base would be happy, but they may not get all those. They might only just get the one, but for now, Rocco is out as the Twins, as announced on Monday. Tuesday, Lincoln boys won the Metro Boys golf meet, and they looked impressive doing so. Registered a score under as a team that shot under par as a team. That's just incredible. And they won the All-City golf meet. They've now won this. So really impressive with what the Lincoln boys have been able to do lately. Certainly they've caught the attention of a lot of people with the way that they've played. And they did it again by winning the Metro meet there. You saw the scores. So, they're playing really good golf. State golf is next week in Rapid City for Class AA, and they're going to look to continue that trend. Well, that's our short little beginning of the show because we got Jared Fredenberg and Matt Christensen set to join us in our next 2 segments. We'll talk with the Lincoln head coach when we come back to SportsZone All Access. And welcome back to SportsZone All Access here on this Wednesday, having a conversation with a special guest. We mentioned we would have one coming in, and he's joining us for a second time. We have Coach Jared Fredenberg, the Lincoln head coach, joining us. Coach, thanks for coming in again.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and a lot to talk about for the Patriots, and I think a good place to start with. Last week, you guys had quite the close game. From my perspective, it was a lot of fun. I don't know if fun's the word you would describe in that one, but it was a really good game to watch from a fan and media perspective for sure.
Oh, yeah. Lincoln and Washington, for a long time, they were, the only high school in town, or the public schools, going at it. And so there's a deep rivalry there. And so it really does. You can take all the records and throw them out the window in that game. And it proved itself, again, last Friday. They're good. They got things figured out. They were missing some guys right away and just kind of figuring out who their quarterback was going to be. And one ended up the quarterback, and the other one is a free safety that really comes downhill and plays well. And so they got all their wideouts back. And, they're a different team than they were, the first 2 games of the year. And now, getting Woods back and they got the things rolling right now. They're going to be a tough out.
Certainly. And, when you look at that game for you guys, there's games you haven't had to play too much second half starters, and you haven't really had to play down to the final minute yet this season. That was one that you guys kind of got tested all the way to the final seconds there, having to stop that final drive.
Yeah, and that's good for us, and I was kind of glad that our defense was the one that was out there and got it done. That was really a good confidence booster for them. A lot of things that Washington did, they played super hard, and so they caused us some problems. And it was one of the worst games that we've played, and a lot of, that goes to Washington and how they played. And so, having the defense on and getting the stop with a bunch of those young kids was a big feather in their hat for sure.
And with that, it's a good reminder that it doesn't matter who the opponent is. They're going to give you their best shot each week. And I think it's fair to say that was probably Washington's best game of the season when you put into how they were able to perform.
Oh, for sure. And, that was their quarterback's best game that he's played all year. The two running backs that they swap in and out of there, they were really good. Their offensive line is big. And their defense flew around. Their defense played at an extra level that we hadn't seen on film. And so, kudos to the coaching staff over there. Ryan does a great job, and he's got it pointed in the right direction. And looking at their schedule, I mean, they might not lose another game for the rest of the regular season. I mean, they're good, and they come down and hit you, and they're a physical running team. And now, with the threats that they have on the outside, and they've settled on their quarterback right now, and so everybody's getting those first team reps, and it's rolling for them. So it was good. It was good.
Absolutely, it was a good, like I said, good game for us to watch. Moving you to 5-0 in the season now, and that's got to be a good relief to get that win, and just continue the winning ways, right? I mean, it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes they aren't pretty, and that's the way to look at it.
Yeah, and like I told them after the game, we didn't play very well, and defensively, I was very upset and just kind of really frustrated with how we played, and we had some injuries and some guys playing out of position, but that's no excuse. The standard is the standard, and so for us to find a way to get that done, I was really happy about that. Brody Schaefer didn't play necessarily very well. He was 10 for 26. So that's not, that's a bad game for him. So we just didn't have our best out there, and a lot of it, like I said, was to Washington's credit, but we somehow found a way, and that's a good trait to have, especially on defense with a lot of young kids and a lot of kids that haven't been in that situation before. And so I was really happy that they got that stop and were on the field when they did it.
Yeah, certainly, and that adversity factor has got to mean something.
Yeah.
It's something that you guys haven't. Thankfully you haven't had to face too much through the first few weeks. But at some point, you're gonna face it. You're not gonna win every game by 30 points or so.
Yeah, for sure. And you look at the schedule, and I've told you this many times, Grant. I mean, I'm serious when I say this. The Metro Conference, man, it's just any team can do it, and it's just there's some with the rivalries and just it's just weird things happen, and football being an oblong little ball, it sometimes doesn't bounce the way you think it's gonna, and so it just it just is. You got to play. You just got to play every week.
And as we talk about something that's fun to talk about, you guys still scoring 50 points a game, and it was slowed down at times, but we still saw your offense be where it needed to be at crucial times on Friday, and it's still obviously the unit that you guys can lean on is one of the best in the state. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, that's where our leadership is. That's where our experience is. And we do lean on our defense or on our offense. And so, defensively, I mean, where I tend to kind of drift, we want to get 3 to 4 to 5 stops a game. And if we think we can get 4 stops, we feel pretty good that we're going to be in a position to win. And so, our offense needs to keep chugging. We need to keep getting better and not get complacent and sharpen our sword every day.
Certainly. And, one of those factors, Brody Schaefer, and, you mentioned it. I mean, it was kind of interesting. He seemed like he was untouchable there for 4 weeks, with the video game like numbers he put up. And then you mentioned he got held in check a little bit Friday. And was that kind of a good wake up call or kind of just an adjustment? How do you kind of approach, seeing that, he is human a little bit?
Yeah. And you take the good with the bad. He kind of went off script a little bit. And so, but, you kind of take that sometimes with a playmaker. But, there's some things that he can improve on. I mean, he's a high school junior. He's a 17-year-old kid.
Right.
And so, he can improve on a lot of things. And the cool thing about Brody is that he's the first guy that will admit that. He looked at that film and went, man, I just need to get better. I didn't play very well. And, so when he's got that attitude and he accepts, his part of it and he's accountable for his part of it, as a head coach, you don't really worry about a guy like that, and we're, super happy that he's leading our offense. And, it was one game. And so, but now, we turn the page and all of a sudden there's Brandon Valley in front of us too.
Yeah, you're leading me to my next question. There's a reason we brought you on this week specifically.
Yeah.
It's our game of the week, so we'll be there to call it. But also, 1 versus 2 state championship rematch. Two of the top scoring offenses in the state. This is it's got storylines to it. But for you as a coach, I'm sure you got your hands full getting ready for this one.
Oh, for sure. This is, anytime you have a quality opponent like that, and Brandon always poses problems that you don't see with other teams. A lot of other teams, they're a different style of play, and they're 21 personnel, 22 personnel, and they're going to pound it at you. And oh, by the way, they have a college offensive line basically, and so it's you got to come up with ways on ways that you can just steal a possession or get them behind the sticks and make them a little bit one-dimensional. But they're really well coached, and that doesn't happen to them very often. And so we have our hands full, and it's it's going to be a number 1 versus number 2 slugfest. So everybody's going to throw punches, and you just got to get up from the canvas when one lands, and just kind of got to keep punching.
Absolutely, it'll be a big, and you mentioned it. It'll be a big test for your defense. This is a team that they know what they want to do. They want to run the football. It's that simple.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And it's just laying that. And the biggest thing, Grant, is replicating it in practice. That's the biggest thing, because we don't have those big hogs like that. And so,
right.
And just they're really good at A gap power. They're really good at C gap power. They're really good at counter. And trying to replicate that is really, really hard. And at the speed and we talked about it today, the level of physicality that they bring that.
Right.
And so you just don't want to practice that, and get people hurt and just, going full bore for like 20 minutes, full pads tackling and all that. And so it's more of a mental game too, getting them prepared and what they're going to see. And then of course you do got to have some live reps too.
Got to do that too. Yeah. That's right, Coach. Well, that's what we needed from you today. Thanks for coming in. Good luck on a big game you got on Friday.
Yep. That's why you play them.
That's why you do it. All right, we'll have more from SportsZone All Access when we come back. And welcome back to SportsZone All Access. We said we got some good interviews coming your way today. That includes the Brandon Valley head coach, Matt Christensen, who made the trip over to talk about the Lynx, who are having a good season so far. Matt, we thank you for making the trip over here.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, we're fired up about this week's game, and we know it's going to be a good time. We know it's going to be interesting, no question.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. We'll get to the game here in a second, but for you guys, you're just coming back from Rapid City last week, got yourself another win, and now improved to 5-0 on the season. It's got to feel pretty good to does it throw you off ever to make those long trips out west and have to adjust a little bit there at all?
It's a strange kind of day, but we develop a routine, and our seniors, juniors get used to it, where we hit Al's Oasis and get out at Rapid City, get stretching a little bit. And sometimes we get a little worried as coaches that we won't be locked in, ready to go, but the kids always are. And we just overwhelmed Rapid City Central. It was 28-0 after first quarter. And Rapid City Central's playing hard, and they're playing good football, but we just made a lot of good plays and made them quickly, and I'm just proud of our effort. So it's strange, but kids can adjust, and they're resilient, and they want to play well, so they do.
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing we're seeing, you guys are defense. I mean, you've only given up double digits in 2 games this season, and those were some late scores in a couple of them too. We know Brandon Valley always has had this kind of model for defense, but it's got to feel I mean, just this year, it seems like it's really working for you guys.
Yeah, we've got a lot of talent there and a lot of speed. Not particularly big, but we play with low pad level and a lot of good hand violence and strength and technique and fundamentals. Mackay Zocker's been playing a lot of football for us. He's always getting something done. And Dylan Williams and our DBs with 3 returning starters, Brighton Stroh, Chase Leary, Nolan Pudwill. They're just exceptional players and athletes, and they help the other guys play well too. And even our juniors are all very talented kids, and they all love hitting and playing together and communicating, getting the job done. So yeah, it's been fun that way for sure. And of course, we take care of the ball so well, and time of possession's our friend, and that helps the whole cause too.
Yeah, it all works together, and we're seeing that with some of these scores. 3 of them only single score games too, and that team speed. I've heard that from a few different from other teams and from yourself as well. And that's kind of the thing. You guys have hats to the ball every time because you got so many kids that can just fly around there.
Yeah, it's major. We actually don't do pursuit drill like we have in the past because we just haven't had to. Our guys just have the desire to get there. They're in good shape physically, and they know their angles and how to leverage things and make vice tackles. And it's a trademark for us, and we like to get it done and get as many takeaways along the way as we possibly can too.
Certainly, and then this year, you guys have had some offensive success in the past. This year, it's just really clicking through 5 weeks, 46.8 points per game. It seems like that whole group is just kind of gelling right now, and you've struck up a really good balance with it too.
Yeah, our offensive line's our engine, and they just a powerful bunch of kids, all seniors, all weight room, committed guys, and just a ton of talent and unselfishness that they help Levi Veskrina get things done. And Austin Dowd's a talented tight end and great big kid at 6'4", 230. And Mason Veld can really get some blocking done too, along with catching. And our receivers are growing all the time and very talented kids, along with Briggs Knudsen. He knows how to take care of the football and get it, zipping around where it needs to go. And we're rolling there. And the challenge will be to keep it going at at the rate we like. But now we're confident, and I'm looking forward to it, and just play hard and have fun with it.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned your offensive line as your engine, and it's kind of leading to what we're seeing this with Levi Veskrina, but this guy is on pace to I don't know what the records are over in Brandon, but it seems like he's got to be on his way. 17 touchdowns, almost 700 rushing yards through 5 games. Having that offensive line helps a little bit, but he's a talent in himself too.
He really is. He's committed to play for the USF Cougars, and he's 190 pounds. He's agile, tough, super durable, takes great care of the football, awesome hands, willing pass blocker, great run blocker. If somebody else is carrying the ball, he'll get into people for sure. He's a really talented kid, maximizes his abilities, and just really committed to the role we ask him to do, and that's to carry the ball quite a bit. And he finds the end zone. He's got a great knack for getting in there for sure.
Because I was looking through our video when I was putting this reel together here, and I just kept finding touchdown after touchdown. And when I looked at the stats online, I went 17 already. I mean, that's impressive, and it really shows. Like you said, he's just got. When he gets the ball in his hand, it says he ain't going to stop till he hits that goal line, it seems like. Yeah,
he loves getting in there, and he knows it helps the team. And he's just an unselfish guy, too. He's always giving other people credit. That's fun to see and hear. And, we've got, a special talent there in Veskrina, and we know he's going to keep giving his best because he's a great competitor. He just cares about, serving his squad all he can.
Well, and I know from my perspective, it's always cool to see these local guys stay local. When it's USF or, SDSU, USD, Augie, wherever it is, it's always cool to see that because then we can continue to see them grow. And I'm sure that's something you enjoy too, knowing that he'll be right in your backyard when you want to go watch him play college ball too.
Yeah, you bet. I'm going to see the Coup play Augie this Saturday, so I love going to their games, and I'm fortunate to do so. It's good football too. I trust their coaches. I know it's a good atmosphere, a good, kind of a together approach, and they take care of their guys, and they care about them as student athletes too, and that matters to me, knowing that we've got a lot of good students at Brandon Valley, and we want them to stay good students, and we want their support systems to keep serving them well. And we know USF and Augie and DAC State, SDSU, they take care of kids, and it's really fun to trust that.
Absolutely, and we can't have you on without talking about the big matchup you got coming up this week. Obviously, you got 1 versus 2, which is special in and of itself. You've got 2 high-powered offenses, a state championship rematch, a lot of storylines with it. But for you guys, it's a big week because you're playing a really good Lincoln team.
It is a big week. Yeah, we want to get the win, and we don't have to make the kids care anymore. We don't we don't have to fire them up any extra. They're ready. They're locked in. They're focused, and things we say they're taking in and appreciating, and they understand it's a football game. You got to play it well. Nervousness won't help, stress won't help, but confidence will, and along with just knowledge and trust, that all pays off too. And then we can trust yourself, you can trust your teammates, and you can rely on each other to get a difficult task done. And that's what football's all about, that just being that team game kind of thing. And it's fun to have a little more celebration or attention around the situation. And if that's positive focus on our kids, I'm all for it.
Yeah, certainly. And when you talk about Lincoln, you got to talk about that offense and Brody Schaefer and the weapons that he has. They're going to put that team defense speed that you got to the test, probably the biggest test you've had all year.
No question. Yeah, they've got plenty of speed too, and we'll see what we can do to match it up and make the tackles, make the plays, get off the blocks, and then use our offense to challenge them too and take it at them and see what they're made of, kind of deal, and just trust our engine, like I said, and it's at our home turf, so we like playing there. It's a little tighter than a lot of other facilities around the area, and we know we'll get a great crowd support. We'll get all kinds of action there, and we'll just use that energy to make it all positive.
Well, and I know it'll be a busy week for you planning for this, but it's these are the games you get up for, right? These are the fun ones to get ready for, right?
Yeah, any challenge is fun, and we try to treat each game as a challenge because they bring them. Every challenge is new and different, and if you get too high, too low, it doesn't help. We know there's implications in the playoffs with this one's for seeding, and it's a blast that way because we want to be challenged and want to challenge ourselves, be challenged by opponents. It's always wonderful to see and bring out the best in everybody too.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, that's what we need from you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Grant. Take care.
Yeah, and that was Coach Christensen who joined us, and you can watch that game, Brandon Valley Lincoln, coming up on Friday, 6:30 on KELOLAND.com, KELOLAND Plus, and Kelo Extra. Well, thanks for joining us today on SportsZone All Access, and we'll see you back here on Thursday.